Mark.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Taft City Council Successor Agency Joint Regularly Scheduled Meeting for Tuesday, July the 2nd, 2019. This evening, we're going to begin our festivities with a Pledge of Allegiance led by City Manager Jones and an invocation by Bob Jordan. If you would join us, please.
Salute and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to bless us as we stand here in this moment. We all know that the end is coming soon, but for us, we want it to be a blessed time. We live in a blessed town. We would like to take this second, Father, to thank all the former council members who have voted to change this in the magnificent city we've got. We'd like to bless our current council, bless all our city employees, any county employees, and the entire city of Taft. In the name and through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor Knorr,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Here.
Councilmember Eveland,
Here.
and Councilmember Whiting.
Here.
All right, first item on this evening's agenda is citizen requests public comments. This is the time and place for the general public to address the city council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Okay, first we're going to have Kathy Orn from the Taft Chamber.
Thank you, Mayor Knorr, for reading my directions.
Not a problem. Good evening,
that.
Dr. Orn.
Well, I'm here to remind you, as though you need reminding, that the fireworks are here on the 4th of July, and we're going to have a wonderful fireworks spectacular for you on the Rails to Trails. And the fireworks will begin at 9, but we will begin having fun at 5. So we'll have vendors, we'll have a bar, we will have lots of wonderful food, and 2 bands. So this is going to be a fun time. The All-Star Band that represents Lincoln and the high school will be there to play during the actual fireworks. So we'll have live music during the fireworks. That's pretty exciting for us. So we're very happy. I want to thank the city for their contribution of $5,000. And also the newest contributor is the staff and owners and the customers of True Value. Cooper's True Value gave us a check for $5,000 that represented point of sale.
That's awesome.
And the bulk of that was people from our town. So we appreciate very much the folks in Taft supporting their own fireworks show. It's amazing when I talk to people about fireworks, they can't believe that it's free. They're like, well, how do you fund it? And I said, from contributions. Like, who contributes? And I said, well, we have sponsors, but the bulk of it comes from people who give $1, give $10, $20, $100 if they get caught at a good time. So anyway.
Put a big guy by a stop sign, look what happened.
Yeah. But somebody said, I just thought this was a good time to make nice with former chief of police. So I just kind of like gave him what I had. Okay, so moving on to sit and sips. We have no sit and sip tomorrow because we are busy getting ready for the 4th of July. But on the 10th, we will be hearing from the West Kern Adult Education Network and Cole Carr, who used to be a familiar face with us. He's now with the Special Districts of California. And the 2 of those are going to be talking to the folks at Sit and Sip about the business and training opportunities that are available here in our area. Now, the following Wednesday, we will not be having Sit and Sip because the only time I could prevail upon Caltrans to come and talk to us was on a Thursday. So this is very difficult. We have to think about this. We don't go to Sit and Sip on Wednesday, the 17th. We go to Sit and Sip on Thursday, the 18th, after we've gone to Coffee with a Cop, because that's first. That's at 8 o'clock at the corner of First Street and Kern Street, and that's the old Arts. Is it still Arts? It's the Chevron. Okay. So you can grab a cup of coffee there, and at 9 o'clock you can come to Sit and Sip. We have donuts still. And you'll be able to hear a man named Paul who will be talking to us about roundabouts. He'll be talking generally about roundabouts, and he will be speaking specifically about our roundabout on 119. And there was a deep breath when I said, now I know that I've said you need to talk about roundabouts, but we only care about one roundabout now. So you need to be prepared to speak to our specific roundabout. So just make sure you're prepared for that. So he's like, okay. So the following Wednesday, we will be back on schedule with Larry Ray from Kern Patriot Partnership, who will talk to us about veterans affairs. And then we will be dark for a while, and on August 21st, after everybody goes back to school, we will start Sit and Sip once again, and we'll be starting with Jesus Garcia, who will be talking to us about the census. Now, who ever thought that the census was going to be controversial? You count people. Well, apparently it's not that simple anymore. So come and join us and find out about all the ins and outs and how people are going to be able to be counted, what the different mechanisms for being counted are going to be. It will be very informative. So we've got some exciting stuff going on in our Sit and Sips, and I invite all of you to be there. The third thing I'm going to talk about, I'm not really going to talk about. I just want to remind you that July 21st to 28th, there is a wonderful thing happening in our town, and that is the Babe Ruth Finals. And teams from all over are going to descend on Taft. It is a big deal, and we are just beginning to understand how much economic goodness is going to come to Taft. So I want to remind folks that there are wonderful opportunities here to see good baseball with youngsters, and also to have a chance to be part of the enjoyment and maybe make a little money. But I am the worst person to talk about that. I see two very qualified people. One very qualified people. There's one. And they can fight about who's going to come up here and follow me and talk about Babe Ruth. But thank you very much.
I'm going to dovetail into what you said about the upcoming 4th of July fireworks show, because anybody who doesn't know that I love fireworks just missing the boat. I believe you have arranged for the fireworks to happen on a day when July the 4th, the daytime high will be 92 degrees, overnight low of 66 degrees.
It's a Chamber of Commerce day.
I knew you were setting that up. I want the world to know
I'm
it.
telling you, I don't want to take credit, because I believe God is in charge of the weather, and I don't want to be struck by lightning before. But it's a pretty good.
Mr. Mayor, I was going to say, isn't Randy Miller? He's not here.
It's a pretty good day in the neighborhood. So
It's going to be a beautiful day. And I would remind everybody too, in order to have fireworks in the Rails to Trails, the most incredible venue for fireworks in the state of California, you have to have a blast zone, because we are developing the people's property in Rails to Trails. We are shrinking the blast zone. It could very well come to be that we won't be able to have fireworks on the Rails to Trails any longer. I encourage everybody to take full advantage of this incredible weather and this incredible opportunity and come down and be a part of the action. Don't take it for granted, everybody. It's going to be a wonderful time.
And if you have an inkling that you would like to be part of this event, call the chamber, because we can use volunteers. We need to make sure that the blast zone, or the zone, is monitored so nobody gets hurt. And we've done a very good job with that. Our rec district has helped us with that. We want to make sure we have plenty of people to help us with that. So if you would like to volunteer, and we can arrange, if you are in high school and you are going to need credits for towards community service. If you do this now, we will keep track of your hours and we will certify them. So just let us know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy.
Now, Sarah?
Okay, next up, person number 2 is going to be Tara O'Neill on behalf of the West Side Recreation and Parks District.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here on behalf of the REC to talk to you about an exciting upcoming event that we have. We've been looking for ways to bring more stimulus to our economy, and we feel that tournaments are a great way to bring people from out of town here. So we've decided to host the Pacific Southwest Regional Babe Ruth Tournament this year, and they really want to start doing this in small towns more because in the larger cities, there's so much going on that the focus is not the Babe Ruth tournament. So we don't have a lot going on. And so this gives them an opportunity to really focus on that for the week. So we are excited that the council will be doing a proclamation, and we thank you for that, and making it Babe Ruth week that week. So we have a lot of exciting events planned for the week. We're still looking for more events. We're going to have sponsored days and theme nights. We've brought in community service clubs that are helping us, such as Kiwanis is going to be helping with the opening ceremonies, and they're going to be providing box dinners with Dodger dogs for all of the players and selling them for the patrons that are coming as well. We're also having Rotary that will be doing the breakfast for the coaches, and we have the All-Star Band will be playing throughout the week and take us out to the ball game and all that good stuff. So we're really excited about that. We're trying to bring the community into this as much as possible. So we are having opportunities for people to set up vendor booths, buy ads. I've been going out to the public and just telling people, it's great that we have McDonald's and Taco Bell, but get yourself in our program so that people know that if they go down the road to where they wouldn't drive, that they'll find your business, which is a fantastic business, and just really generate revenue across the entire city. So we've blocked out rooms with the local hotels. We're partnering with them, and we're filling up fast already. Even though we haven't even finalized the actual teams that are coming, the rooms are already selling out. So it's really exciting for us. So do you guys have any questions for me?
I've been hearing quite a bit about it, and we're all very, very excited. I'd be betting you money that Councilman Bryant is going to talk about it because he is a big-time Little League guy. So I'm going to go ahead and let you talk about it.
I hear you guys might have a PA announcer that's serviceable.
Might be excited about that.
Yeah.
You know a guy?
Yeah, I do. He told me he's excited. You know what? I've had the opportunity to go and be at the Little League Regional in San Bernardino. I've been to the World Series in Williamsport, and this is a step up age-wise and definitely in the play. So anybody who's interested in just watching a good ball game, is it free of charge or is there an admission fee?
There's an admission fee. It's $4 for adults and $2 for children, or you can get a pass for the entire week.
You get to see international baseball for $4 a day, right? And have a good time doing it in a tremendous venue at the high school. They'll have opportunities for you to buy things, memorabilia, as well as food. Games are going on in the evening. And hopefully the mayor can order up some of this weather we're going to have here this week for that time.
I'll talk to Kathy.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. And we can have this kind of weather. You get people from Guam coming out here, this kind of weather, they might move here permanently. You never know.
And that's what we're excited about is we have teams that are coming as far as Guam and Hawaii, Arizona, Nevada, Utah. So it's pretty exciting to have them coming from so far away to our little town here that we're really proud of. And one of the things as far as memorabilia goes, we're going to open up our rec shop that we have at the recreation department. We're tearing it down right now and rebuilding it for the Babe Ruth tournament so that it will be the official store. We've talked to Rodney Wyckoff, suggested that we could also push the items out into different stores in the community to get the people going there too. So I think that's a great idea that we're looking into that as well. I know I appreciate, and I'm sure the council, speaking on behalf of the council, I appreciate you guys bringing that sort of thing here. It's something we don't get often, but we could prospectively get more often because, Kathy can attest to this, the influx when it comes to tourism income is invaluable. The exposure is invaluable, and especially when we're looking at ways to diversify our economy.
this could be a tremendous way to get our foot in the door and open that for the
Right, and
future.
it's just the first of many that we're planning
Yeah.
already. We're really excited about it.
Great job.
We're looking at 500 to 1,000 people coming from out of town, just even on the first day. So really excited.
Excellent. Well, very good. Thank you all for your efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
Appreciate that, Les. All right. Have a great afternoon. Thank you very much. Okay, so next up, council statements, non-action. We'll begin with Councilman Evelyn.
Other than, again, the 4th of July, the fireworks thing, if you haven't yet, I'm telling you right now, most of us have already, it's like a repeating family tradition at this point. And there's so much to be had, so much to be done, and I want to get a plug in for the Taftai Band, because if you haven't heard them play before, you're seriously missing out. They absolutely are able to provide a almost professional quality band. So the music during the fireworks is going to be amazing, and already anticipating all that. So
Yeah,
that's
a live soundtrack, right?
All right.
just absolutely impressive. I already know.
Looking forward to seeing everybody down there. All right, Councilman Bryant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kind of piggybacking on that, I know you feel strongly about this. I got a picture last year, and I wish I could show it with everybody. But the favorite picture I've got is you've probably got 50 kids sitting right in front of the monument. I'm facing eastbound. They're facing westbound. And I just so happened to take the picture at the time where every single kid's like this, right? And you see a big red burst. It's probably one of the coolest pictures. And there's very few communities across the country that get to enjoy that type of venue.
That's right.
And that type of show, 100% free of charge, and we should definitely take advantage of it. On that note, Kathy, I want to say thank you to you and Shannon and your folks at the chamber for spearheading that. I mean, that's been a labor of love, I'm sure, and a labor. No less emphasis on that. But we appreciate it. And to all the folks who contribute, of course, the city of Taft doing that. And then, I mean, for True Value to think outside the box and to be able, on their own volition and by the generosity of their customers, to present $5,000, that's huge. That is, I mean, that's what, 20% of the total cost approximately? I mean, that's massive. So, big thanks to you. So I wish everybody happy Independence Day. Be safe, have fun. God bless America, and God bless Taft. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Well said. Thank you very much. Councilman Whiting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. By my quick calculation, it looks like 243 years since 1776 when we're going to celebrate our independence. It's a long time for a new country like ours. And the 4th of July reminds us all the things that we have gone through to keep our freedom and to keep our values and traditions alive, especially in light of all the things that are happening right now in the world where they're trying to take those things away from us. That the chamber does this for us every year is huge, and thank you, Kathy, for that. We celebrate this because our country is one of the best in the world as far as I'm concerned, and we can't do enough to celebrate all the people who helped us keep it that way, especially our soldiers and sailors, airmen, and everybody that is in a service-related field that helps us to do that, the firemen and the policemen and the EMT workers. And those are the people that keep us where we're at, and we can't thank them enough, and this day is for all of them, and it's for all of us. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Our country, when it was founded and we find our independence, there's a proclamation made that we celebrate July 4th with fireworks. Noises, bands, it was in the proclamation. And we've been continuing this tradition for 243 years, but slowly it's been less cities are celebrating, less communities, less states. It's like it's never happening. I'm very proud. We all should be proud that we still continue the traditions here in our great city. We also forget that when we were founded, we're a constitutional republic, but we vote as a democratic for our voting for majority rule as far as our electing our representatives through the democracy part. But we have constitutional republic is for that we have laws set to protect the individuals that we can't be changed by whichever new government comes in. And we're one of the few countries in the world that's been around as a country for 243 years. Most countries don't last that long. They change governments, revolutions, big changes. So we're very fortunate that we have not seen the crisis in other countries here. And this has proved that we have a great country, and we may disagree, but we all come together. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, sir. Okay, I think we all agree, God bless America, and fireworks are great. No doubt. So I expect to see every one of you on Rails and Trails, including you.
I will be here this year.
All right. Thank you very much.
It's been a few
All right.
years. And
I want to speak to another thing that came, and this ridiculousness in the state of California blows me away. I'm telling you, I read and I try to reason some things you cannot reason. So, here you go. Study seeks ways to cut oil and gas demand. In the new budget, our new governor has seen fit to commit some $1.5 million for, I quote, finding ways to reduce petroleum supply and demand. There's no doubt that they will put together a council of individuals, and that council of individuals will meet once every I don't know what. And they'll all jump in their vehicles and drive to a central place in Sacramento and burn a bunch of diesel and gas getting there, and they'll be in a building heated on natural gas. And they'll talk about how they're going to cut down on using gas. And then they'll go home, burning gas all the way. I have another idea. This has been talked about in multiple communities, this whole go green thing for a long time. And the realities are much different than the fantasy. So I say, instead of spending $1.5 million on a committee, let's try it. Let's just try it. Finally, try it for real. There are communities in the state of California that profess to have overwhelming support for all of this. Could be San Francisco. Could be Santa Barbara. Could be Sacramento. Santa Barbara, get oil out, right? Well, let's try it for real. Here's what I say. He's got to do it in phases. He's got to be reasonable about this. So phase one, what they have to do is quantify all the current financial benefits some municipality actually get from the sales of oil and gas. Let's call it San Francisco. So whether we're talking about property taxes on producing properties, we're talking about royalties, we're talking about bond payments, every municipality in the state of California counts on sales tax generated by the sale of gas and diesel. Quantify that dollar amount and remove it from their budget. First thing they do. How much money? Remove it from the budget. I'm not saying quit collecting it, but stick it off to the side in a different account and adjust their budget for all that money to be gone. Now, they're going to identify great big holes and gaps in their budget. So what they do is, once they identify those critical budget shortfalls, then they pass additional taxes on the people who live within that municipality to fill the hole. Because after all, they're all the ones that are saying, we got to do this. Let's do it. Let's do it now. So take the money that they benefit from, put it to the side, pass additional taxes, fill the gap. Make them feel better. That's phase one. Phase two, go solar. Solar is going to solve the world's problems. Require all residences and businesses to install sufficient solar capacity to replace 75% of their current usage off the grid, because 75% of the electricity on the grid in the state of California comes from the use of fossil fuels, right? The rest comes from hydroelectric, solar, wind. So, to be fair, they have to cut their energy consumption by 75%. So they need to go solar, and that makes sense. If hospitals and public buildings cannot afford to put in a large enough solar array, then pass bonds and tax the people and backfill that problem too. So now we got taxes and bonds, so we can do that. That's phase two. That's just the beginning. Phase three, everybody has to go EV. If you live within a municipality, then you have to get rid of your dirty internal combustion engine, and everybody's got to buy an electric car. So once everybody buys an electric car, then they also have to install a charging station at their house because they got to be able to charge their electric car. But after all, they're idealists. They should be okay with this. I mean, a little bit of a pain in the butt, a little bit of a cost. So make them do that. If they don't comply in the spirit of the things that are going on in Sacramento, well, then fine them and impound their car. Outlaw the use of all internal combustion engines. Lawn mowers, leaf blowers, string trimmers, motorcycles, chainsaws. Get rid of all those dirty, polluting items. Make everybody buy electric ones. And then lastly, for phase three, no propane or gas use. No propane barbecues, no hot water heaters, no gas cooking tops, no heaters for their hot tubs. Get rid of all that. And that's the first 3 phases. We all know that only 1 out of every 5 barrels of oil in the state of California, actually in the United States of America, goes towards the use of personal transportation. 1 in 5. Only 1 in 5. So all these things are going to change just a little bit. The other 4 are used for commercial transportation, airlines. Who wants to jump on the first battery-powered airliner and fly across the country? Raise your hand. No takers. Doggone it. All right.
Mr. Mayor, if they could just have an electric high-speed rail, they might be able to solve that.
Oh, yeah. Now, as crazy as this sounds, think about it. We're going to study and study and study, and we're going to gather data, and we're going to let's just finally just do it. Just do it. Give one of these municipalities to actually talk the talk and walk the walk. Make them the standard. They will see in very short order the quality of life issues that they face rapidly, the cost escalation which they face rapidly, and it will not take very long at all for them to back off of this. It's ridiculous. The wise use of all our resources in the United States of America is the future and the future of our generations to come. There are places for renewables. There are places for oil and gas. Renewables are heavily dependent upon oil and gas. By bulk, 50% of a modern automobile is made of plastics and composites. 50%. It's made out of stuff that comes from oil in order for it to be able to go down the road driven by a battery.
And it still has to be lubricated.
And yet, that 50% of bulk only comprises 15% of the weight. That's the miracle of plastics and composites. So as you shift and you build more and more cars with more and more plastic, you're using less oil to go down the road, but you're using more oil to create the plastic to make the plastic cars go down the road. You see what's going on here? We, as a civilization, are going to enjoy the benefits of gas and oil for many, many generations to come. It's necessity. It's what brought us out of the Dark Ages in about 1875. And it's what changes things. It's what makes us who we are versus third world countries. You know what third world countries don't have yet? Cheap, dependable energy. That's what they don't have. We do. And we're better at making it than anybody. And we do it right here in the state of California under a microscope every day. So, this, I'm serious. Set an example. Let's try this. Make it an experiment. Quit talking about it. I'm sick and tired of hearing them talk about it. It's a bunch of crap. All right. That's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Well said, Mr. Mayor. Well said.
Here.
Next up, department reports. I think we have a department report this evening. Mark Staples.
Looks like I have a fan. Thank you, Mayor Noor and fellow council members. Mark Staples, Planning Director for the city. I am giving you a department report based on public comments provided at our last meeting regarding a business that's looking to relocate here in the city. And being that it's not an agendized item, please forgive me, I'm going to talk more in generalities as this does apply for multiple buildings and properties in town. So the particular business in question is running into a issue, as others are in town, where we have some older buildings in town, and some haven't quite been upgraded that would meet today's standards with ADA accessibility, the size of the restrooms, or the half baths, things like that. So as I mentioned, this applies to all properties in Taft, but particularly on Center Street, our oldest buildings that date back to the 1920s. It's basically an issue where the property owners just haven't been working to improve their properties, improving their buildings. As I mentioned, with ADA compliance, there's some kind of a key 3-point thing to keep in mind with anybody who either owns property or is looking to rent a building. Is it's basically the access from the front door, which should be 36 inches wide. Keep that 36-inch path, keep it clear all the way to a transaction counter, whatever that may be, at a restaurant, retail, whatever it may be. and then a path from there to a public restroom. As long as that's clear, you're pretty much solving 95% of your ADA needs for your building and business. And if anybody is looking for a good example of what a simple restroom layout is, the rehabilitation that happened at the Bank Restaurant. They installed those 2 new restrooms right next to the bar area. They're single occupant restrooms. They may have a sign for male or female, but they're exactly the same. They're a sink, a toilet, and it provides the accessible space on the interior for anybody who's handicapped should be able to maneuver in a scooter or with their crutches or whatever means they're handicapped. One thing that's mentioned over and over in the California Building Code when it comes to accessibility is the removal of barriers. It doesn't quite lay out, I guess, with any series of laws, which the building code is, doesn't quite give you the best roadmap that anybody could read it and figure it out. But it does say over and over is to remove barriers. So especially with existing spaces like what we have, it's figure out what you have, where are the impediments, front door, middle of the business to the back. So some of the things we had been doing past couple of years that I've been here and with the series of building officials we've had, particularly is getting through one area to the next, so outside to the inside the door, because one of the key things is dexterity issues. So no more doorknobs, because some people have gripping issues and rotation of arm issues, so it's more of, can you just have a flat hand and open something up? Same thing with doors to restrooms and places like that. So we've at least gotten some changes with some of that with a lot of these older businesses that have some older doors, older hardware, and so forth. And as all of you have instructed me, and so as the city manager, and I believe it as well, is that we, the city, are not to be one of those barriers to these businesses moving in and opening up. But we do need to be working with them and pushing them and encouraging them and getting them to make these improvements that just better their building. Those could be unknown hindrances why some of the vacant buildings aren't being rented out as well. So it does cost a little bit, especially if it's a full improvement to a restroom, but that's an investment into your property, and hopefully that reflects into the value of your property and getting more tenants or improving whatever business you may be running there as well. And the key thing is just to remind everybody, the ADA is not just for customers, it's for everybody, from yourself to your employees to service persons that come in to service your building, whatever it may be. It's to remove those barriers for everybody. The code may mention disabled persons here and there, but the ADA is actually for everyone. So I'm going to leave it at that. I welcome any comments or questions any of the 5 of you may have.
I have a question for you, Mr. Staple.
Yes.
Can you tell me, were you working for the City of Taft when the City of Taft passed the Americans with Disabilities Act?
I was not. That was 30 some odd, maybe even 40 years now. I want to say 79. It might be the 40 years.
79.
Anniversary this year.
Was that done here in the City of Taft, sir, or was that on a federal level?
That's on a federal level. And over those 40 years, I'm presuming, it's worked its way into our building code, and it does outline what could be done. And every city does have their own level of discretion of how far or what your processes are to get this compliance. There are cities who will not do anything with a business license until everything from a curb ramp to your door to a back door to, they'll have a 50-item checklist, and then others are trying to fix those barriers. The code isn't as heavy-handed as some might presume it to be. It's up to each individual city and county to enforce that. Sorry, I had one more point.
That's okay. I would quickly just relate my own experience when we brought our business from the county into the City of Taft. We built a brand new yard. We have 2 buildings in our yard, which is on 8 acres. The front building, which is the office building. And in the office building, we have a handicap-only parking lot or parking space right there at the front of the building. Our front door is ADA compliant, and there is an ADA compliant restroom. so that in the event that somebody did come visit us, it's completely compliant. Beyond that, in the back of our 8 acres, there's another large Butler building with a small office, and that is meant for employees only, as well as heavy-duty diesel mechanics. That's where we work on cranes and big trucks and things. In spite of that, we were required by law to put a handicap-only parking space in that back building. It's got less than a 2% grade from the parking space into the Butler building, into the office, a handicap-accessible approved restroom in there, and a sign placed on the door at the right level in Braille. So in keeping with ADA, if you came to work for me at my company, which is a commercial crane and trucking company, and you were a wheelchair-bound, blind, heavy-duty diesel mechanic, you would be able to have a place to park and come into the office and use the restroom. I understand the process, I understand the law, and I understand the need. I also understand the cost involved in compliance. But that doesn't change the fact that I had to. And so I did, and we did it. So I just want everybody out there to know the City of Taft did not create, nor did we pass the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's a federal statute. We did not pass the Federal Clean Waters Act, nor the Endangered Species Act, nor several others. But we are bound by those things because we live in the United States of America. So I thank you for helping explain that. I would ask that any of the other members of this council have questions. See, Mark, see how good you are at bringing these things?
Very well said.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate your presentation, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, any other department reports this evening? I believe we have somebody from Taft Police Department coming up here to talk to us.
Peter Randa, sitting in for the chief, who's currently up in God's country camping with his family.
Thank you, Pete.
So, mine's going to be pretty simple and brief. For the month of June, we had 953 incidents that the officers responded to. Of those, calls for service were 449, and the others were made up of officer-initiated activity, which is still showing that they're out there trying to be proactive and not reactive when it comes to securing the community of Taft. Also, there was a total of 65 arrests made for the month, with 54 of them being misdemeanors and 11 felony arrests. We also hired a new officer. We're going to try to get him here tonight. However, he was off earlier this afternoon, and but we'll try to have him here at the next council meeting. He's freshly graduated from the academy 2 weeks ago, and prior to that, he worked in Montana as a law enforcement officer up there too. So.
Excellent. Nice to have another team member. I know you've been looking for some time to find the right team member. So.
Right. So.
All right.
What I've got.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming
You're
for
welcome.
us. Thank you, Pete. All right. We're also going to hear from the people we contract with for fire protection services.
Yes, sir. How are we doing? I don't even know if this is appropriate time for me to come up or not because I haven't talked.
It is. It's perfect. You're
all right. Excellent. I don't have really a report for calls, but I want to talk about fireworks because 4th of July is coming up.
Please do.
So, obviously, they're for sale now. And what I really wanted to get across was that there's a website, youlightitwewriteit.com, www.youlightitwewriteit.com. And on that website are all the rules and the hours that fireworks are legal to use. So just like you guys, we love this country. We want people to celebrate this country. We want them to do it safely and use the use of safe and sane and legal fireworks within the legal timeframes. So anyone interested can go to that website, and all the dates and times and information about legal fireworks are there.
All right.
That's all I have for you guys.
You know, something really interesting happened in Bakersfield just a few days back, and there was a truck traveling northbound on 99 that they believe was dragging something, whether it was a chain or something that was causing sparks. I'm sure everybody saw this story. and there were a bunch of dry weeds along the side of the road near that interchange. Those weeds caught fire. It was pushed by the wind, and it ended up burning a total of some 86 vehicles, causing over $1 million worth of damage.
Yeah, it was pretty significant.
So even if you use safe and sane fireworks,
Yes.
and you happen to light something on fire in doing so,
Correct.
it could turn into a terrible situation, including loss of life, but most certainly a financial burden. So
That is correct.
use your head, huh?
Yep, be smart about it and be safe. That's what we're asking.
All right, very good. Thank you
And
very
again,
much.
I don't think I said, my name's Danny Thomas. I'm one of the battalion chiefs in this area. So.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks for
All right.
coming forward.
Can I ask
Yes,
one clarifying question?
We have a question.
Battalion Chief Thomas, is it spelled out YOU or just the letter U?
It's spelled out.
Thank you.
Every word's spelled out.
Appreciate it.
Yep, and that's it'd be easier for people to look at that than me to go through all the dates and times. But I have them with me if anybody's interested afterwards.
I like it.
All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Chief, if
Any
you have a
other
minute.
staff reports?
Just have something for the chief real
Oh,
quick.
this has been a very informative session. All right, next up, City Manager statement. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have is to wish everyone a safe holiday and enjoy their freedom.
All right, excellent. Thank you, sir. City Attorney statements. Jason,
Thank you. No statement, Mr. Mayor.
other than you're going to be at the 4th of July fireworks.
Other than that, I and my family, it's been about 3 or 4 years since we were able to make it for the Taft display of fireworks. We're certainly looking forward to it. We'll make it this year. I hope it's not the last year that we have it along Rails to Trails, but if it is, I'm thrilled to be able to make it this year.
We are so glad you're going to be there and bring your family. Wonderful. Future agenda requests this evening, gentlemen?
I have none.
No, sir.
All right, hearing none, then we'll move forward. Next up, consent calendar, items 7 through 10. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the City Council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? Seeing none. Those items are item number 7, the minutes from the June 18th, 2019 regular meeting. Item number 8, payment of bills, about $600,000 worth. Item number 9, a treasurer's report for May 2019. Recommendation is a motion to receive and file the treasurer's report dated June 17th, 2019 for the month of May 2019. And then finally, item 10, Taft Police Officers Association Communications Workers of America, AFL-CIO Local 9110 Memorandum of Agreement. Recommendation there is a motion to adopt a resolution entitled Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft approving a memorandum of agreement for the Taft Police Officers Association / Communications Workers of America, AFL-CIO Local 9110. Do any members of the City Council wish to remove any of the items from the consent calendar? All right, hearing none. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 7 through 10.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any individual statements regarding these?
I'm going to have to not have a vote on number 10.
So you'll abstain from item
Abstain
number
from 10 alone.
I too will abstain from number 10 and also from number 7 as I was not here on the 18th.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant.
Yes.
Councilmember Eveland.
Yes.
Councilmember Whiting.
Yes.
And Mayor North.
Yes. Passed on a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much. The abstentions noted. Next up, item number 11, approve travel expense for council members to attend the League of California Cities annual conference and select a voting delegate. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The 2019 League of California Cities annual conference is scheduled for October 16th through the 18th at the Long Beach Convention Center. The conference will also hold their annual business meeting on Friday, October 18th at 12:30 p.m. to ensure that the City of Taft is represented. Has a voice at the annual business meeting will be necessary to select a delegate to attend the business meeting. It will also be necessary to select an alternative voting member. The cost is estimated to be $1,400 per attendee for the conference.
Okay, to finish that up, our League of California Cities Legislative Delegate Council member Josh Bryant and Mayor Pro Tem Orson Cryer have stated their interest in attending. So the recommended action is a motion to approve and appropriate funds from general funds for registration, meals, transportation, and other incidental expenses for Councilmember Bryant and Mayor Pro Tem Cryer, who wish to attend the 2019 League of California Cities Annual Conference and the League of California Cities Annual Business Meeting in Long Beach. At this time, I would entertain such a motion.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any additional discussion, gentlemen?
Nope.
Represent us well.
Councilman Evelyn, none?
None, sir.
All right. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant.
Yes.
Councilmember Eveland.
Yes.
Councilmember Whiting.
Yes.
And Mayor Knorr.
Yes. Thank you very much. That passes on a 5-0 vote. Secondly, I would entertain a motion to select a voting delegate and an alternate voting delegate for the League of California Cities Annual Business Meeting.
I need for you to state who those will be, because we'll be submitting.
Okay, now that I have a motion, we can discuss whom.
Okay.
Once I have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
All right, I have a motion in 2 seconds. Okay. All right then.
Who's the
Gentlemen.
first second?
All right. So we need to select a voting delegate and an alternate voting delegate. Well,
Obviously.
since I believe Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman Bryant are going to go down there, have either of you had the opportunity to be that voting delegate in the past? I believe you.
I was last year. I think good for Josh, since he's on the League of City representing Taft. He should be the primary.
Would that be your nomination then, sir?
Yes.
Okay, well then I would respect that. Anybody have anything to say about that?
Sounds right.
Well, it sounds like then our voting delegate is going to be Josh Bryan.
Thank you.
And our alternate voting delegate is going to be Mayor Pro Tem Orson Cryer.
Perfect.
So, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant.
Yes.
Councilmember Eveland.
Yes.
Councilmember Whiting.
Yes.
And Mayor Knorr.
Yes, that passed on a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much. Gentlemen,
Thank you.
enjoy it. Thanks for taking the time to represent the people of the city of Taft in the League of California Cities.
Thank you.
Straighten those folks out, would you please?
Do our best.
Thank you very much. Item number 12, City of Taft Police Vehicle Decals. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. At the June 18th, 2019 City Council meeting, Mayor Pro Tem Cryer requested staff place an item on today's agenda to discuss placing In God We Trust on the City of Taft police vehicles.
All right. Thank you very much. This is a discussion-only agenda item, gentlemen, so we don't need any motions to be able to discuss this. Mayor Pro Tem, you asked that this be placed on the agenda. Would you like to begin this discussion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. There have been a few cities, three, and there's now a fourth one coming up, are putting decals on their police department, In God We Trust. A lot of cities have on their motto, on our family, on our city seals, In God We Trust. Our country was founded on God. We all have, and the Constitution has, created supreme themes and different deals. And most people believe in God. No matter if you're believing in a Jewish God, a Methodist God, we all have the same basic deal. We believe there's a God up there that represents all of us. And it does not state that we are particularly protecting any person or any God or whatever religion in our city or in our government. It's there for us to worship who we believe, and we choose our religion that we want. And I think being a city and we following our Constitution as set by our forefathers, and I think it's appropriate to have a In God We Trust, which we have on our seal, and I think it also on our police department, and also it sends out a good message to our citizens. I just like to see us the same thing here along with the other cities here in Kern County.
All right, very good. Any other comments concerning this? I believe that the sheriff came up with a very unique viewpoint. I thought a great solution. So would you share that with us?
He did as well, which, I don't know where it came from, but he decided essentially that he's going to leave it up to the individual patrolman as to whether or not he will have the words In God We Trust on this vehicle. Personally, I'm for it, but that may be different for another person that's out there. But we are kind of following suit with Bakersfield PD. Like I said, there's several now that are doing that, and personally, I mean, I would be for it, even given, hey, that individual patrolman or whomever can choose to not have that on there. I think that would be a wise way to go.
All right. Thank you very much. Councilman Whiting?
Yeah, I think I agree with the sheriff and with Councilmember Evelyn. This country is made up of choices, and that freedom to make that choice, whether you want to or not want to believe in God, is your choice. And since we do issue police cars to those individual officers, I think if they wanted to have a choice to put that on their vehicle, I would have no opposition to it whatsoever.
All right. Councilman Bryant?
I think Councilmember Cryer's point about this nation being founded on the idea of a deity, and not one deity in particular, but a deity, a supreme, is a very good one. And I would, third, I guess you'd say, the suggestion that we give the officers the flexibility to choose to not do that if they still elect to not do so. But I think it's a good gesture and one that's long overdue across all different spectrums of government. My opinion.
All right. Well, that's why you're here, because we want everybody's opinion. I agree with it. I agree with the approach because, after all, we have to respect everybody's First Amendment rights. And freedom of speech and freedom of religion is very, very important. And we would not want to ignore somebody's opinion. So I believe that those words belong on our seal. I believe that they belong in our community and in our hearts. This community is based on Christian fundamentals as well as our country. So I would agree with what you all are saying. I would like to see it. I believe that we'd have to talk about just exactly what the stickers would look like, and we would have to talk about their costs. This would come before the Finance Committee. But I believe it's a good idea. I believe it's a good gesture. I am in agreement with my fellow council members up here. So I guess moving forward, the direction that we would give staff is please come to us with a concept for the stickers themselves, as well as associated costs for putting those stickers on our police cars so we can consider this.
And a policy.
Huh?
And a written policy.
And a written policy, absolutely. All of the above.
If you need it, I concur. If not, then I concur.
We'll bring it back.
Okay. All right. I think, does everybody concur?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you all very much then. Okay. This brings to a close the open session portion of this evening's fun. And now we get to go into closed session. We have several items to be considered. Closed session item A, the annual performance evaluation, Government Code Section 54957 of the city manager. Item B, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9B, one potential case. Item C, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9A, Taft Union High School versus City of Taft. Item D, conference with real property negotiator Craig Jones, City Manager, Government Code Section 54956.8, APN number 032-110-30 and 032-110-70 and 71. And then finally, item E, conference with labor negotiator Craig Jones, City Manager, Government Code Section 54957.6, all units. Once again, thank you all for being a part of this evening's meeting. God bless America. Enjoy the 4th of July, and good evening.